more than exciting inquisition into the nature of nature. Let me stand for some of this.
Please do.
I brought my book as an example of some of my work that you may not know about. It's upstairs. It's 10 stories about love, kind of surrealistic, sci-fi, highly imaginative. It smells beautiful.
Smells beautiful.
It's small enough that I do not need to use amplification to find the resurrection of my purification, the amplification of this situation. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
We are recording, so if you could use the mic, that would be super helpful.
Oh, sure, yeah, I'll do it for you.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Do you need some help, sir?
No, I was looking for a lumbar support.
Oh.
Chairs have none. All right, let's.
So how you doing today, sir?
Oh, one second, let me try this.
Oh, do you need some help?
No, I don't need help, I need money. Yeah, that's moderately something like this.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that works much better.
So how you doing? How's the con treating you so far?
Pardon?
Oh,
You're over there.
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
We'll start with Roger Rabbit. I mean, that's what everyone's here for, really.
Start with what?
Roger,
Okay.
a little bunny you may be familiar with.
I'm familiar with the terms.
It's been 35 years, over 35 years.
Actually, it's 37.
Yeah.
It was just the 37th anniversary on Wednesday of last week.
It's lasting. It's in the pop culture. How does it feel to be part of something that long lasting?
It feels good in my lower extremities. It feels better in my head.
Let's go back to casting for that. What was the casting process for, like, to get Roger?
I never really auditioned. Robert Zemeckis had seen me do my stand-up act at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, and they brought me in to help them audition the Bob Hoskins characters to do a voice off camera so that they could react with. And after doing several of those and kind of developing some preliminary idea what the voice would sound like, he offered me the job.
How long have you been doing stand-up for at that point? You've been at least 10, 15 years at that point, right? Your
How
stand-up?
long had I been doing it?
Yeah.
Well, I started doing stand-up when I was 9 years old at summer camp. You do the math.
So had you looked into doing acting, voice work at that point, or was it something that's about
No,
to
I went to the Goodman Theater in Chicago to study acting for 2.5 years prior to coming to Los Angeles to pursue my career in show business. Yeah, I've always wanted to be an actor and be a professional actor. I think always either an actor or you're not.
Do you have a preference as far as, you've done a lot of dramatic work as well. Do you have a preference, comedy, drama?
Whichever I'm doing at the time, whichever pays the most and makes the most people happy.
You were on set in full costume for Roger Rabbit. Did that help you? I know it helped the other actors, obviously. Did that help you get into the character at all? Had you recorded your stuff at that point?
It was just an idea to make it a better experience. I was going to England for 4 months to do the character, and I knew I'd be off camera with a special setup. And usually put on a costume before you do a role. In addition to that, I didn't want the English people to say, oh, this American wears the same corduroy pants every day. It just made sense to have Joanna Johnson, the costume designer, make me a Roger Rabbit costume. We were filming at Bournemouth Studios, Elstree Studios in Bournemouth, outside of London, and went to the commissary one day, and I was still wearing the costume because I don't change to go to lunch. And someone from a Superman film was being filmed there, and they said, I saw the guy playing Roger Rabbit. He doesn't look anything like a rabbit.
Did you have an idea of what the, I mean, it was groundbreaking technology at the time. Did you have an idea going into it, what it was going to look like, what the technology was going to entail?
Well, I had seen what Roger would be like. They showed me an animation test, and that was instrumental in allowing me to create the voice, because as an actor, you create a character based on what's written in the script. The character says and what the character does. But with animation, it's also what he looks like. So if the character is very large, then a more deeper voice. Oh, if he's very small, I'm very small character. So you have to adapt the tonality of the vocality to assume the proximity of the physicality of the actor of the chimpanzee. I said chimpanzee just to see if you're listening and to prove I'm not a cheetah. Thank you, lady in the front row, for getting my Tarzan joke. My next personalized joke will be for the people in the back. Don't take too many for yourself, lady. It'll be very lonely.
Had you, was the voice something you had developed prior to coming in, or was it something you came up with?
No, I've never done that voice before. There were aspects of it. After I got the job, they told me I needed a speech impediment. So they were considering a lisp or a stutter. And I came up with the, because I used to do an impression in my act of a flying saucer landing on a horse, which was, so I had a cheek flutter, so then I adapted it so that it would be homogeneous with what I said, and specifically with P's, that please.
You were a successful stand-up at that point. You've been in Tonight Show a handful of times, but you were kind of thrown into the spotlight in 1989. Did that affect your career? How did you handle your notoriety kind of skyrocketing a little bit?
Oh, Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
How did I handle it?
Yeah. Was it something you were able
Gee,
to...
how would you handle getting gifts every day from the hottest chicks in the world? Oh, it's depressing. Who needs that business? Just send me back to the Bookman Theater where I can play the role of Ozzy in the theatrical production of I think I smell some feet. By the way, if this room were filled with people as smart as this lady, I would be killing now, as compared to entertaining a lovely woman and her somewhat somber husband. I love this woman. Hey, what the fuck up and look at her, all right? What am I, invisible for crying out loud? What the fuck? Is this a panel or a rehearsal for a graveyard? Jeepers. Come on, lady, talk to the friends. That's better than something. Yeah, just talking dirty, she got excited. Now her husband thinks, tonight could be real. I'll find gold in the mountains tonight, Gloria. Okay, now we find out what the people really want. You want the nasty? I don't mind! I specialize in it. Hey, we got Pops laughing back there. He's tearing up. This is good, man. You may have to shave.
Your stand-up is a lot of this. So, what is your writing process like? You do a lot of improv, you do a lot of work, stage work. What is your writing process like for stand-up? And has that changed at all?
My writing process, I use my right hand, and I use mostly vowels. My jokes kind of sound like this, ooh, hey, ooh, ee, and sometimes why. If you don't use your vowels every day, you'll become consternated. Nothing but consonants. Move your vowels every day. Sometimes why.
Oh, Lord.
Wait for the left.
Yeah, I know.
Cheer up, lady, will you? Oh, your nipples dance when you laugh.
There's no kids.
All right, now I'm feeling warmed up.
I'm
I
not
have a
trying
booth
to.
upstairs too. You want to come up and say hi? Especially you, lady. You can bring Sleepy Tom with you. Man, if the world had a mall or I'd be king. You realize that? I'd be king of the earth! I know. God only gave us one of a real nice. What's your name, ma'am?
Patina.
Oh, what a perfect name. Patina. Ike and Patina Paterner.
Yes,
Love
I'm
that
old.
moment. Oh my God.
You have a background in science, which I don't know.
See that?
A lot of-
You say science and I go right to the
Right to the-
microphone. Fucking A. You're like sick or not. Galileo, look. Oh, do my queen bit. Weird. Okay. Anybody taping this?
Right next to her, actually.
Next to me. Oh, good. YouTube it, baby. Thanks.
Brilliant.
I don't know what you said, but it smelled nice.
I said you're brilliant.
Oh, that's even more appreciated. And you are illuminated, not just by the light from my brilliance, but from God. I'm not joking about that because I'm a very spiritual person.
I think he's serious.
Of course it is. So,
Does anyone have any questions? I'm gonna come down with the mic and.
oh great, man wearing no socks. Shaved his armpits. This is gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I know we talked at your table a lot yesterday. I really loved you as Carvelli and welcome back, Cotter. What
Thank
was
you very
it
much.
like working with that collection of personalities?
It was an extraordinary experience. John Travolta, this was prior to Saturday Night Fever, and just great. Gabe Kaplan I'd known from stand-up, and it was my first experience being a regular on a network sitcom, so it was great. You know, Carvelli, over here, Epstein.
That's a tough school.
Yeah, tough school. This is a tough school.
And I loved you in Demon Night. What was that like? Tales from the Crypt Demon Night?
Yeah, that was great. Got to work with Billy Zane and met him during that production. We remained friends, and that was great. I had previously done an episode of Tales from the Crypt where I played a vampire hunter, I think it was. Wolfgang Puck was the waiter in the scene.
Anyone have any other questions? Anyone?
I have a question over here, front row.
Okay, I'm gonna go here and go over there.
I'm sorry.
You okay? I got
No,
you.
it's wrong.
I got you.
Wrong. You're gonna pay for that shit.
I wanted to ask, what was it like working with Christopher Lloyd on Roger?
Well, once again, Christopher Lloyd is just an extraordinary human being. Of course, he was in Back to the Future too, so we shared that, but my scenes were not with him. But yeah, Christopher was great. I was in England doing the film. I was with my daughters and my whole family, and we all went to the museum with Christopher and his the woman he was with at that time. And just you know, charming, elegant man.
So, with all the movies that you've been in, obviously we've talked a lot about Roger. I just have one single question with that one. What was your favorite line that you did for Roger?
My favorite line?
Yes.
Oh, it's the scene where Roger's in the alley lamenting that Jessica had played patty cake with Marvin Acme. And it had a special resonance with me because my youngest daughter is named Jessica. So when I was saying the name, Jessica, it had an emotional connection that went beyond the script to my youngest child. So it was a channel for my love to be transmitted in it. That's probably my favorite part. That and all the time you pull my ears.
So, with the Roger Rabbit movie, with the success of it and how innovative it was there any ever talk from that point onwards about doing a sequel, or was it not ever in conversations?
There was constant talk, and at one point Steven Spielberg even told me that they had a director and it was going to be a musical, but there were political reasons. The fact that the movie was produced by Disney and Amblin, so there had to be both sides had to approve of any script, and Zemeckis now thinks that Disney would no longer do it because of the provocative nature of Jessica. So, as E.T. was one and done, I think Roger Rabbit will not see a sequel, but it is as it is.
You had a number of 3 shorts after Roger Rabbit?
I did 3 of them after that. One was before Out of Africa, one was before Dick Tracy, and one was before Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Trail Mix Up, Roller Coaster Rabbit. Yeah, those were the ones.
Hello, sir. My name is Brian, and my question is, working with Wes Craven and preparing for your role in The Nightmare on Elm Street as Dr. King, what was that like? Like, what did you do to prepare?
Well, anytime preparation is, learning the script and just becoming the character. Wes Craven was exceptional to work for, and I worked for him again in a movie called, before Roger Rabbit, called Deadly Friend, in which I did the voice of the robot BB. And I did have a as part of that characterization, but that was before Roger's stuttering P. But yeah, Wes Craven was just a magical guy. I've had the privilege of working with Wes Craven, Robert Zemeckis, also David Fincher, who directed the movie Zodiac, which is probably the on-camera role that I am the most proud of because of the depth that Fincher brings to his films.
What would you say you learned the most? Like, what director do you think you really learned the most from?
You.
Thank you.
Oh, I love the most, like which child do you love the most, But I would say Wes Craven, Robert Zemeckis, and David Fincher are certainly up there. I worked with Ron Howard. He's not a slouch. Had quite a few very inspirational people at the helm of my cinematic ship.
Did you say cinematic ship? It sounded like something else to me. Oh.
So, moleeds. Tell us about moleeds. This is your scientific background. Tell us about moleeds in a way that we can understand.
Well, that's not necessarily going to be easy. Moleeds is the name of a mathematical treatise that I discovered that has to do with the number 37, which is a prime number. Anytime you use a prime number to divide other numbers, you get a repeating sequence of numbers. 1 divided by 37 equals 0.027. Conversely, 1 divided by 27 equals 0.037. So in this reciprocal relationship over the period of 30 years and more, I discovered this system of relationships that develops a symmetry. Anytime you use a prime number as a divisor, you'll get this symmetry. And just to quickly perhaps illustrate, it takes the numbers from 1 to 36 and divides them into pairs that add to 37. So 1 and 36 equals 37, 2 and 35, 3 and 34, etc., up to 18 and 19. any prime number uses a divisor will generate a symmetrical system which adds to p minus 1, or that prime number minus 1. 37 take away 1 is 36. So I'm sure that
Everybody got that?
needs to be looked at the table. I did a TED talk on Moleeds, which is also comedy, and if you're really interested, you'll find more.
You also, it was in your stand-up, you incorporated, I saw you on the Tonight Show talking about Moleeds. How difficult was that for you to incorporate in your stand-up and still make it enjoyable and understandable for the audience?
I don't think about things in terms of how difficult they are. I just think of things that I want to do to manifest a certain reaction. So one could say, well, that was really difficult. But you could also say that was easy. I just combined different things that I love. I love comedy and getting laughs, and I love science and mathematics and artwork. I do a lot of art. My website, charles-fleischer.com, features a lot of the artwork I've done. So I've been confusing to people during my career because I'm a combination of various, perhaps unrelated loves. The artist in me wakes up in the day and goes, wow, what a beautiful day. And the scientist wakes up and says, yes, but how does it work? So in my act, I do a lot of audience work, and then at the end, I go to the piano and make up songs about the people I have spoken to, and that combines my love of doing comedy with rock and roll and with music. So everything I do is either for passion or profit, or some combination thereof. I don't believe in hobbies.
Is there any of those things that you do, writing your book? You've got stage acting, screen acting, science, stand-up. Is there anything, or music, is there anything that speaks to you personally that is more closely related to who you are, or is it all just part of?
Well, it doesn't necessarily speak to me personally, it's my personality speaking to it. But everything I do is based on the intrinsic nature of my being, which is freaky dude. Freaky dude with some smarts and bad looking for an old motherfucker.
How did you get started?
Checkmate.
Go back to the beginning of where it all began. How did
Go back to the beginning. You go back to the beginning. Fuck that, man. I got time for that. We're gonna have to ask these two people to leave you out right now. Let's go. I don't like the way you're acting. They all hyperbole, plus that guy did shit his shorts. Glad he's going, I tell you. Man, I wonder what that noise was. I'm sorry, back to the beginning of time?
Yes, the creation of the world.
Which
No, where
world,
was
bro?
where did you start? Like, you just started doing stand-up. Where did you first get on stage? What was that experience like?
I first started doing stand-up when I was 9 years old at Camp Kewanee in LaPoon, Pennsylvania. My heroes were, at that time, Jonathan Winters, and then Richard Pryor.
You remember your
and Groucho.
Do you remember your set back then? Do you remember what your set consisted of?
Well, I had stand-up at camp.
Yeah.
Well, there was a guy named Tommy Levine who looked kind of Asian, and I had him stand up and say, I was a hot dog vendor, that I have a yen for a hot dog. And I used to do, just jokes about whatever was going on, not much when you're 9.
When did you realize you could do it professionally and actually make a living doing it?
Impressions. Do you want the time or the date?
Just a general part of your life.
January 15th, 1956. I just eaten a bad tuna sandwich, and I puked, and it sounded like Boris Karloff.
Thank you.
I've always done voices. I used to have a sound effects record, and I put it on and make little funny tapes. Boris Karloff, Jackie Mason, Yeah, okay. Next question?
Oh, yeah, what's it like being a dog and shitting in a river?
What? Sorry, I don't answer canine defecation jokes.
I love Back to the Future 2, you mentioned earlier. It's one of my favorite movies. Anything stand out from that experience working in that film? Obviously you got to reunite with Robert and Christopher Lloyd, but was anything stand out? You had two scenes, really, old Terry and young Terry.
Mm-hmm.
What was the makeup process like? What was the experience like for you overall?
Well, anytime I work with the med, because it's a privilege. Makeup, they had to do a cast of my head, and I was in makeup for the old Terry, maybe 3 hours, applying all the prosthetics. And actually, the time it took place was a couple years ago, so when I became actual Terry's age, I looked younger than him. Go figure. Show business, huh?
Oh, let me go down here. We're gonna wrap it up in a minute, but I'll come down and grab you, dear.
What happened?
We got a question.
I have a question for you.
Oh, questions are good, answers are better.
You mentioned that you worked with Ron Howard, and we all know that Ron Howard was Opie. How did you look at him and take him so seriously, knowing that Opie was there, and you have somebody telling you what you have to do next?
Oh, I don't let people's prior work affect my opinion of them. Like, I know you used to be a dancer in Vegas, and I love that work. No, I didn't really consider Opie. You know, when I talked to Mickey Donuts from the Monkees, I didn't consider that he was a circus boy. But if anything, it would add to my admiration of him. One of the few child actors who continued to have a career. You know, Jodie Foster and Kurt Russell, just a few that didn't make it to the penitentiary system.
It's a tough way to grow up.
Yeah, I prefer to let my kids just be kids.
Good afternoon. Two quick ones. Paul Rubens, I understood, also tried out for the role of Roger Rabbit. Did you ever cross paths before or after? And then what's your opinion on AI? What's going on with the industry with AI?
Oh, great question. So Paul Rubin, Pee Wee Herman, he and I shared the same birthday. And we both were in a young comedian special that was on HBO. I love Paul. I think he's, God rest his soul, brilliant guy. I love AI. I do a lot of work, art using AI. I think it's magical, but like anything, it's a double-edged sword. You know, you can use atomic power for good or for bad. So, but whether we like it or not, it's here and it's not going away, and it's a powerful tool. You know, it's the collective consciousness with the unconscious reality of life. Yeah, if you go to or my Instagram, I post a lot of my newest art is AI generated, and prior to that, I used to do a lot of CGI stuff using a technique called ray tracing. It's just 3D art, which essentially you create 3D models using wireframes, and then you texture map them by assigning what the surface would look like, and then the computer sends out an imaginary beam of light, and according to all the things you programmed into it, if it hits here, well, we know that's a reflective surface, so we have to take into account what's over here. And I've always loved technology and science and art. Once again, it's that combination of two different things. Arthur Kessler, who wrote a book called The Act of Creation, talked about how a scientist and a comedian are very similar. They both perform what he called a bi-associative act, putting together two things that would not normally be related. For instance, Maxwell there was electricity and magnetism, and Maxwell, but what he and Faraday too can include electromagnetism. That's the combination. And I used to do a bit in my act of Japanese Bob Dylan, So it's two things that you wouldn't expect to be together, and when they come together, it creates the joke. Yeah, summertime,
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up to Mr. Charles Fleischer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you to my friend in the front, my mother's sister's daughter's brother, my friends over there, my cinematographer. I want copies of that shit, mama. Thank you all very much. So thank you for this wonderful host, ladies and gentlemen. Put it up. And come up and see me in my booth. You know, you don't have to buy anything, but come by and we can talk more about whatever you want. Peace out. God bless. Thank you.